So the other one, so when you think about that, with them doing this manipulation of our culture, and they've been doing it for so long. I mean, that's another part in this movie that just was so sad. When like when you're watching these people, this movie is a true story. When you're watching these people prepare for World War II, and they're on edge, like, what's going to happen? Are we going into war and stuff like that? And knowing there was they were always going to. That was the purpose, is to go in and kill people. We're not fighting with another side. They are creating division and then creating that division to go to a place of war. But it's the same people up above that are doing it. And they're doing it again right now, doing everything they can. And it's working for people who are super ignorant. But one of the things is, when they tell us about how racist we are, right? We're the problem. We're just, they have to call in the United Nations at this point, they've said, and NATO, like, oh, you guys are so bad. We have to call in the outside, the police of the world have to come in to solve y'all. You're so rotten. Oh my God, I knew she would do this. Hold on. I keep having weird things happen. That was really weird. Just then I looked down and there's a feather on the floor, and right as that, the crow, I guess it's a crow, it starts cawing, caw, 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 right when I see that feather. I don't know. It was weird. Okay, so anyways, my daughter, she was always, raised in the suburbs, and, came from a white family. And so now she's together with a guy who is a minority, and he lives in an area that is primarily built around migrants, the migrant workers that would come in and work the farms. And so, it's a community built with minorities. And she went to Planned Parenthood the other day at that one. And, she'd always gone to the one, all the girls start going to the Planned Parenthood when they built it out there. They made it like this real fancy, super nice place you could go in and talk about your personal women things. And it was just all, this female kind of thing. So she went to this one the other day, and she's like, oh my God, it's completely, completely different. Not at all the same. I'm like, well, can you see who the racists really are? It's the organizations, it's the corporations, it's the people in power. It's not us. We didn't go put that up. We didn't go, oh, they deserve less. Who cares about them? Just put up a little shack. Let's put a nice place where the white people are. They'll spend money. They got more money. So it's them who create this. They create this environment and then blame it on us. And I think it's, like I've said so many times, I think growing up on Twilight Zone opened my mind to some things that, I don't know, apparently it's concepts that are far-fetched for some. But also you can watch The Village. The Village really shows that representation too of how we're controlled with fear and division, and the Twilight Zone showed it all the time, and how people can be directed to violence through fear and through ignorance. And that's why it's so important to not believe like what I say, to go out and look into it, look up stuff. If something piques your interest, go and look into it. Look up about reincarnation. You decide for yourself. Don't just listen because the church says, oh, this is a lie, this is evil. Well, it's about to come out that they hid the books of the Bible that explained it. But go and look into it yourself, and you come up with your own conclusions about everything, about any of the stuff that's going on, about the governing forces that created corporation to control us. Just once you go out and you start looking it up, you won't, there's nobody can convince me of anything different. I've seen the proof. Like, I'm not going to be intimidated by people like Ted, who are too ignorant. Go and read university newspapers. Universities are part of the problem. Everyone has got their hands out. And if your hand is out, then whose pain is going to control you? And so that's why we have this certain group that's controlling everything. They hoarded the money, then they can control everyone through their and then people who are willing to be controlled are obviously people with low integrity. You know, they don't have a huge moral fiber. You know, they'd rather have riches right now. They'd rather have, you know, whatever it is that they're searching for. And so that puts them in a position to be used, you know. And where they come up with, when they start realizing what's happening, some of them get themselves in so deep they can't get out of it. But the only ones who are allowed any of the wealth are people who are going to play along in the program, you know. And that's like why they were so mad about Trump, because he wouldn't play. And that's why they, as a huge blob, as a huge force of its own, went up against him. But he's got his own blob, so they couldn't take him down individually. But, you know, that is a thing, is like, if you are a rich person that has integrity, you're in a shark-infested waters with all the sharks, you know? So it's kind of a dangerous situation you find yourself in, I think, at times. And, but that's the problem, is it's the people who ended up having all the money, ended up being so crooked and slimy, and they'll do anything. They'll do anything, especially now that they've got a lot of crimes under their belt. They'll do anything to cover them. And so they have been in control of everything for so long, and that's something else that I want to talk about. So just a second, I'll be right back.